We're absolutely getting into those difficult levels now. And this is a great example. I've got to make these two pieces of road connect up to here on a diagonal elevator. And I think I'm probably actually going to do it like this. That's a distance I need at 50%, but I'm going to try and make it pivot over as it's pulling upwards. So if I tether it with rope right here, I should hold it to that same distance. By the time it's up here, it should be over there. It should be. This probably isn't going to be strong enough to hold this up. I just want to see if it's kind of going to work in principle. Yeah, that would need some work. Just made things a little bit stronger. Hopefully that works, and hopefully that connected to the right point in the hydraulics, otherwise that's going to happen. I think I've started to solve the problem. I had my steel connected to the wrong spot on this side. Now is my rope going to work? Oh, I thought it was. It was close though, I have the right idea. Okay, so what if I use steel instead of rope? That should be stronger and it should pull it over to where it needs to be. Nope, even that breaks. Alright, I'm just pulling too hard to one side. Maybe if I don't pull as hard on the right side hydraulic, it's going to give it a little more slack for the left side. That has some merit to it. That might work. And you can experiment with shifting everything slightly to the left. That way it doesn't have to pull so hard to bring it over to where it's supposed to go. Still not quite there. Starting to think that this design maybe just isn't going to work, so I need to think up a new one. Because we're only lifting up to there now. Decided on a much simpler design that pulls things basically straight to where they're going. Added a steel bar there to hopefully make that rotation. Let's see how it works. So far, I'm liking what I'm seeing, and we're under budget so far, so we got a little bit of wiggle room. Not quite where we need to be, but we're close. Okay, new idea. Instead of having two hydraulics pulling at an angle, let's have one pulling up and one pulling over. This is probably going to break on the first attempt, but we're going to work on this till it does work. So far, I think I might have forgot to unclip something. This was a poor choice of level to start off with. Whatever the case, it's not going to be pretty, but we'll figure this out. I do feel like we're getting close now. The car does kind of crash there, but you can see we're close. And now the hydraulics are just working against each other too much. Though the bridge didn't break there, it's just the car is probably not going to get to where it's going. I feel like in the end, the answer is going to be really simple for this one, and I've just been way overthinking it. While screwing around, I might have actually kind of found the answer to this. If I use just one hydraulic here, look what it does to the bridge. It pulls it almost where it needs to go. I need very little lift at that point to make that work. Low flyer. I've got to put an entire semi-truck under the plane. Or over. Yeah, definitely going to go under looking at what we have to work with. More of those arch levels that I love so much. Attempt number 1, no steel cables used. The bridge holds itself up. It's got a little bit of stress right here and strangely a lot of stress here. So I'm not really optimistic about this, but I've been lucky before. Not even close. Added a few steel cables to hopefully hold up these little corners. That should help support more of the bridge. Though I should probably use reinforced road now that I'm looking at it. But let's see how this goes anyway. Who doesn't love watching cars crash? And putting a few steel cables right into the center actually takes a lot of weight off other places on the bridge. So we're a lot closer than we were a minute ago. Starting to add steel to what I think are the weak spots on the bridge, though I somehow made it worse. We're going to start over on this. I'm going to try and make even triangles up top using steel. That's going to be very strong by itself. Plus, it just looks a lot better. Now, I'm pretty sure this isn't going to work whatsoever, but it's going to be pretty strong once it has support. Adding a few steel supports underneath, the bridge holds itself up, though as soon as the truck gets to the middle, it's definitely going to collapse. But I've been wrong before. So far, so good, not good. At least I was right when I said all these levels were going to be really hard. I just made giant triangles in the hopes that that was going to work. And it's not. I've got something new to try. This way we can make nice even triangles everywhere. That might be extra strong. Putting our theory to the test, we're not off to a very great start. Well, this does hold itself up at least, so that's a better start, but I don't really have a lot of faith that this is going to work very well. Nope. I can't even get started on the bridge. So after much trial and error, this is what we landed on, and this actually works. Just making a separate arch out of steel down below and putting a bunch of cables on everything. A nice strong arch goes across, and we're way under budget. Over 10% under budget. Very happy to get this one over with. So after much screwing around with this level, I finally found the solution. Looks ridiculous, doesn't it? But here's what happens. Car drives on, gets lifted up nicely to where it has to go from underneath. That was the key to this whole thing. Then it can climb right up on there because it has big old wheels as soon as it wants to get going. Part of the problem with this level was how slow that car was. I had to wait for it for a long time. And then the van just crosses because it's a nice van. The next level is called Looper's Revenge. So this is going to be fun. $100,000. So we got to jump through there. This can't be that hard. All we got to do is grab 2 stars on the way by. It's not going to be pretty, but it's going to work. Attempt number 1. Hopefully it doesn't jump right over the stars. It is coming in kind of fast. Am I seeing this right? Is it going right through the star? Does it have to be upside down when it touches it? Does it have to touch the second one? So many questions. All right, let's take a second look at this. It definitely goes through the first star. It's definitely going through the second star. Oh, it's got to do them in reverse order. We do need to loop it. I thought I actually had an easy level for 1/5 of the budget, but that makes sense. They're even numbered in order. Loops are fun, but they're awfully time consuming. For starters, let's just see if our ramp holds up. It seems to be doing okay by itself. Never mind. This is where my brilliant design now lies. Watching it go, believe it or not, this actually works. It doesn't work well, but it gets a job done because the bridge collapses, but it jumps its way across in the end. So now I just need to do it without collapsing the entire thing. I've got $20,000 and a lot of springs to work with. I found a solution. It isn't pretty, but I kept making that loop smaller and smaller until it just kind of worked. So I'll run it at 100% to show you the masterpiece that is this bridge. The springs also helped a lot to absorb a lot of the shock that needed to be absorbed. That easy, $85,000 only. Monster truck rally, so we gotta do some jumping. This was a very simple design in the end. Considering it was the last level, you'd think it would have been a little bit harder. Basically, you needed the bridge to support these two cars and moving out onto its bridge deck. Once you're there, the monster truck has its turn and it runs straight over everything, which is kind of fun in itself, but it wasn't really that challenging to build a bridge that would support this. I did it for $43 out of the $50,000 budget. I did get to crush cars along the way, which is pretty fun, but that was that. Area number 3 is now officially complete. Area 401 is called Edgy, $47,000 budget, tow truck hydraulic, floating car, hydraulic, and back again. This one could be a bit of a challenge considering the road is right there, and that's a big span to cross. The answer to this one was easy once you realize you can build off of the rocks, which I didn't at first. Then it's just a matter of balancing it out with the hydraulics to make sure it all holds itself up. The springs did make it a little bit flexy in the middle, but as long as you keep the middle of the bridge together, you'll be just fine. And boat passes through, no problem. Tow truck gets to work its way right back across. Again, not a super hard level, but I did like this one because of the rocks and the springs. Done. And we didn't even go above 95% stress and quite a bit under budget. Collision warning, I also don't love the levels where we have to jump things over each other, but we'll figure this out because we have springs now. This was my solution right away, and it actually works really well. The problem is we're 50% over budget, so I gotta find a way cheaper way to do this. Found an option that works for this under budget. It was a little screwing around with this angle to make it actually work, but it jumps across, the spring saves it. The spring was the answer to this all along. Just like that, $9,975 bridge at 99.8% stress. And a sloped drawbridge sounds like something I would have nightmares about, so I'm really excited for this, $50,000. I think the key to this one might be making a nice even start here because I can support this pretty well, then lift from here and here. Again, not paying attention to where the star is, so this design isn't going to work. So we're going to build more off of this kind of a foundation. I should be able to pull from either side reasonably well, and then we'll just get over to here eventually. So something like this, probably going to need a little bit of tweaking, but you know, something like this might just be enough to work. It's going to collect a star, the bridge holds up. So far so good. Crossing this is going to be easy. Provided I don't run out of budget, which I'm very close to, but something like that might actually work. It at least holds itself up so far. The hydraulics haven't ever been tested yet, and please hold up. I'm pretty sure that truck's very heavy. Okay, that all went better than ever before. This part makes me nervous because that's a big bridge and a lot of weight pulling on that. And is it going to clear it? Oh, that's going to be close. Nope. But we're really close. Just move the hydraulics somewhere else. Not strong enough to pull it there, but we'll find somewhere in the middle then. Alright, I think I found the answer. Just needed to move the hydraulics over a little bit, pulling from the middle of the bridge. That way you can still lift it without breaking everything. The truck makes it to where it's going, as it always does. The bridge gets pulled just out of the way. That was kind of the balancing point right there. Everything comes back down, then it's just up to the little blue car to make it to where it's supposed to go. And it does so with style. Jumps it, good to go. I'm glad I managed to make that work, because as soon as I saw slope drawbridge, I got worried.